Greetings, I am Erica Nichelle Johnson, a third-year business administration student from Alabama. Introduction. Telecommuting is a term commonly used to describe employees that do not have to commute to an office location. They are equipped with technology to communicate with other colleagues such as instant messaging and email. Telecommuting has grown in its popularity because of the flexible work schedule for employees and the need to satisfy requirements of the Clean Air Act triggered in 1990 to help reduce carbon emissions by automobiles. Currently in the How to Manage an Offsite Team case study, Maggie Pinto, the head of HR, is considering implementing a company-wide telecommuting program. Craig Bedell is the manager of the first team to try telecommuting, and so far he believes it to be successful. Allison and Penelope are two of his top performers working on the Knobscot project together. Summary of case issues. Craig, the manager of the offsite team, has been receiving multiple emails and voicemail messages from both Allison and Penny, detailing that they are unhappy with each other's work on the Knobscot project. Allison is threatening to find alternative employment because Penny constantly contradicts her work in front of clients and acts as if Allison is inferior instead of her equal. Penny believes Allison is acting out, exhibiting erratic behavior, and wishes for Craig to intervene immediately. Craig brings his evidence to Maggie, the head of HR, because she needs to consider all factors, including this conflict, but before she makes the decision to take this telecommuting program company-wide. Organizational behavior theories. The two relevant theories to the issues observed in the case study are effective events theory and situation strength theory. Effective events theory explains Allison's exaggerated response to Penny's hard work and to her taking charge. Craig believes that she is already emotional from personal issues involving her home life and is unleashing these emotions within her work life because she is still so close to home through this program. Penny has categorized her emotional reactions to a decrease in job performance on Allison's behalf. Situation strength theory explains why Penny and Allison may not be getting along. When their behaviors display their personalities, an increase in conflict can be observed. Craig is unable to see the brewing of feelings in troubling situations from his worksite, leaving the two offsite members to continue to build frustration, leading to consequential decisions.
I am Jasmine Hunt, a graduating senior from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Measuring and managing issues throughout a company is very vital to its productivity. Meaning that the company is off-site and the employees don't show up to the office every day, it is extremely important that you stay on top of measuring and managing issues. This is done by assessing individual teams, organizational, and entry-level issues. Craig, the manager of the off-site workers, needs to start with the individuals of the off-site team. With the current situation, Craig should start with the individual level issues of both employees. Reference for Business states that at the individual level of analysis, this involves the study of learning, perception, creativity, motivation, personality, turnover, task performance, cooperative behavior, deviant behavior, ethics, and cognition. He can start anywhere, but since he has a big problem on his hands between the two employees, the individual level assessment should be first. Employee Allison, who feels like Craig is not understanding and is looking to seek employment elsewhere. And employee Penny, on the other hand, who wants to run the team without permission. Craig needs to figure out what he can do to change Allison's mind and get Penny under control. He can start by addressing both Allison and Penny, separate but with an open mind. Hear each version of what happened. It is essential to get all sides of the story, listen to how they perceive the issue at hand, and sympathize with each individual. Ask them what they feel should be done and seek to understand why they feel that way. Be prepared to offer solutions as well. The important thing is to show them that you care about their situation while reminding them they are important to the company. After the individual level assessment is complete, then he needs to proceed to the overall team level issues. In order to address the team, Craig needs to understand that he is the advocate for the team. Employees go to him to mysteriously settle whatever the issue is. Even if the issue is not solved for the long haul, management has to be the advocates for these concerns and urge workers to discover intensive solutions. When addressing your team, you should always go through with the training mentality and not with the issue solver mode. If Craig can tackle individual and team level issues, handling the issues of the whole organization should come easier. Reference for Business also states that organizational level issues involves the study of topics such as organizational culture, organizational structure, cultural diversity, interorganizational cooperation, and conflict change technology and external environment forces. Craig's having a problem with the organization structure and change. Some employees, such as Penny, are having leadership problems causing other employees, such as Allison, to have conflict. This is where Craig's management skills go into full throttle.
Greetings, I am Asia Johnson, a third year accounting student from Orlando, Florida, and I will be going over the SWOT analysis, which includes the strengths, weakness, opportunities, and threats within the company, and the analysis application questions. So, the strengths within the company is the flexible work arrangements that are given to the employees, Craig's response time to Allison and Penny's emails, and the employees aren't hesitant to voice their concern when something has gone wrong. And the weaknesses within the company is Allison wants to quit her job, the amount of freedom the employees have, and Craig only meeting with Penny since she was in the often more often than Allison. Opportunities within the company is a friendship between Allison and Penny, pleasing the campaign and keeping them under budget, and an increase in their clientele. Last but not least, the threats that can happen to the company is losing this campaign as a client, losing an employee, which is an expense to the company, and a decrease in their clientele. I will now discuss the analysis and application questions. So our first question was, being that Maggie is the head of HR and is also somewhat responsible for the employees having too much freedom, what steps should Maggie advise Craig to take to fix the problem? Our answer to that was, first, Craig should take the blame for the current situation between Allison and Penny. Second, he should choose a team leader who is the most qualified for the campaign and announce it at a team meeting. Third, set up a review schedule where all the employees must participate to see the progress of the campaign. And last but not least, avoid letting misunderstandings corrupt into a bigger problem. Our second question was, in order for employees to be successful with their alternate work arrangements, a company must have a solid foundation. In this case, this company had no foundation at all. What were some problems that occurred in this case? Our answer to that was, employees that have alternative work arrangements are allowed to mix work with their own personal needs. Also, the company relies heavily on emails and voicemails and does not state the amount of face-to-face time that is required. Our third and final question was, Maggie and Craig need to create an assessment that will help the reconsidering of each employee's work arrangement. With this assessment, it will allow them to help the employee with their family work balance that they desire, and to be able to give them every work arrangement option that they will be able to do. If the employees has multiple options, they should have a meeting with their managers. How should their meetings be structured? And our answer to that was, laying out the overtones and challenges of working in a non-traditional way, develop an agreement as what is needed to be successful with the alternative work arrangements, such as schedule mandatory face-to-face meetings, tracking progress and reporting. And with this agreement, both employee and manager should come to an understanding that both are accountable for the success of the arrangement.
As we conclude our case study presentation, how do you manage an off-site team? We have a couple of questions that need to be answered. Should Craig change his management style? Can both employees be satisfied? How will he solve the problem? And will this satisfy HR? Craig is the manager of the off-site workers at a telecommuting program who learned how to manage during a time when people showed up at the office every day. He now has a very big problem on his hands. Two employees are at odds. One who is taking the concept of being a leader to the next level, almost to an unappointed supervisor. This has become problematic for another employee, causing her to seek employment elsewhere. With the proper planning by Craig, this situation can be handled effectively. Throughout the case study, we have proposed ways that Craig can handle the situation and get it under control. You will need to start by identifying the problem each individual has. Next, listen to both sides of the story while gathering the facts and opinions of each. Along the way, Craig needs to collect the documentation that supports each individual's claim. By then, Craig should have created a solution to satisfy each individual and report back to HR, ultimately satisfying them.